Hey yo, what is up FPG fam? Further here and welcome back to another Aether Gazer video. Today we're going to be talking about Bastet, a fan favorite and one that I'm really looking forward to. Extremely excited about this modifier. I think this might be the first time where I'm more excited about the A rank modifier than I am the S rank, even though I am excited about Anubis, which by the way we'll do a separate video for him breaking down his skills and what he's bringing to the table. But today all about Bastet. We're going to be breaking down her skills. We're going to be talking about the preferred Aether code, and then we're also going to talk about the sigils as well. So I do hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you get some value from it. With that also being said, before we jump into it, a massive shout out to the sponsor of the channel, Gamersupps. If you want anything from Gamersupps, a link will be in the description down below. Go ahead and click on that link and check out the store. They have waifu cups, waifu shirts, and Gamersupps. They all taste great, amazing flavor, and they give you fantastic energy so you can farm all day long. And if you pick up anything, make sure to use code FurtherBeyondGaming at checkout. Get 10% off everything that you decide to get, so that way you save, so you're not paying full price, and it helps out the channel so we can do bigger and better things. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I do truly appreciate it. Let's go ahead and hop in. So we have Bastet. She's going to be of the Nile Gen Zone. She's going to be a Shadow Trace modifier, which I do really enjoy my Trace modifiers in particular. So that's a massive W for myself. She's going to be a T1, at least on CN currently, a T1 A rank modifier that you can easily rank up. So she's going to be a fantastic addition and a great investment if you decide to do so. And like I mentioned, she is a fan favorite. She's going to be coming with a phenomenal skin. They really cooked on that skin, so there's just a lot of things to love about this modifier, in particular Bastet. But let's go over her basic attacks. You're basically going to brandish the claws. You're going to be doing shadow damage, and the last sequence of the basic attack is going to enter the godly gaze state, and that's going to last for 9 seconds. Now that's very important because a lot of her skills are predicated on being in the godly gaze state to get different benefits. So talking about the skills, let's go ahead and talk about skill 1. You're going to dash forward, you're going to deal shadow damage, and then when you're in the godly gaze state, you're going to be able to decrease the enemy's shadow resistance by 9%. That is phenomenal. It's going to allow Bastet to hit a little bit harder, and that's going to last for 7 seconds. And then after you do that, it's going to end the godly gaze state immediately. And then when skill 1 does hit, you're going to obtain 1 trace. So you have to keep those in mind. What you'll also start to notice is that Bastet, her skill cooldowns are pretty low, which is really good because you're going to be able to take advantage of the skills a lot more often. So that's nice. Now moving on to skill 2, you're going to leap in the air. You're going to disappear and reappear after a little bit, and you're going to deal shadow damage. And then when in the godly gaze state, you're going to inflict stun. Now it only lasts 2 seconds. That's not a long time by any means, but having stun just in general is always nice, even if it's only for 2 seconds. It's a nice little CC. Now moving over to skill 3, you're going to go ahead and consume 1 trace, and you're going to enter the godly gaze state. So there's 2 ways you can enter the godly gaze state now. It's on the last sequence of the basic attack, or just by doing skill 3, which is on a 6-second cooldown, which is really nice. But you're going to consume 1 trace, so you have to keep that in mind as well. And this is going to last for 9 seconds. Now each time when entering godly gaze state, skill 3 will change to War God's Execution, and with this, War God's Execution unleash Shadow Divine Might, and it's going to deal AoE shadow damage, and it's going to end godly gaze state immediately, once again just like the other ones. Now moving over to the dodge skill, the dodge skill is going to be paramount, I think, to how you're going to play Bastet effectively and optimally. So essentially casting the basic attack within 3 seconds of the extremity dodge will teleport itself behind the locked on target to launch an attack, dealing 200% shadow damage, and this is considered skill damage, ending godly gaze state on hit. So this is very reminiscent of Oceanus. If you know Oceanus, when he dodges, you can hit the basic attack immediately afterwards to go in that animation to be able to do some damage. Very similar with Bastet, and it's because this is going to enable you to once again be able to do more damage, and so dodging is going to be essential, just like with Oceanus, to get the most output from her. Moving over to her ultimate, Eye of Ra. That's kind of raw, I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna unleash the Shadow Divine Might to impose penalties on enemies. It's gonna deal shadow damage 500%, and then the ultimate damage is increased against elite and leaders. The higher their modifier points, the higher the damage. That's really nice. And then max 50%. And then enemies in modified mode are considered to have max modifier points. So once you enter modified mode, it's going to be max 50%. You're going to be doing a lot of damage. And then moving over to the next part of it, ultimate damage is increased against normal enemies. The higher the remaining HP, the higher the damage, max 50%. So she's just being able to, no matter who you're going up against, to be able to do a lot of damage just in general with her ultimate. So it's a really good ultimate in my opinion. And then when enemies are afflicted with the shadow resistance decrease, which you can do on the skill 1 and the godly gaze state, then obtain a set amount of ultimate charge. So not bad, and it's on a 20-second cooldown. And then we have what I would say arguably is the greatest ultimate skill chain, not just because of what it's doing, but because of the visuals. It's a chef's kiss. They cooked on this one, and you guys know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you will very shortly. Anyways, it's with Jin A, of course, and essentially you're going to do shadow damage. It's going to be, well, physical damage 700%, and then shadow damage, and Bastet's ultimate charge, or ultimate damage, excuse me, against elites and leaders are increased. Value is equivalent to 50% of their modifier points, so there's just a slight difference there. And then ultimate damage against normal enemies are increased, and that value is equivalent to 50% of their remaining HP. And then it's going to decrease physical fire, lightning, wind, and shadow resistance of enemies hit by 30%, and that's going to last for 12 seconds. So with Jin A, this is going to be one ultimate skill chain that you're definitely going to want to have, not just for the visuals, but because of that shadow resistance shred of 30%. It's extremely nice, and then pretty much all the other elements that you can see right here. So you pair that with the skill 1, and there's a lot of shadow resistance shred going on, and then you can pair it with some other modifiers that can help you out in the shadow, you know, damage department, and you're really looking at a modifier that's going to be cooking, absolutely cooking. Now for the Aether codes, I'm not going to go over all of them. You can see them here. If you want to pause the video, you certainly can. What I will say is that the optimal one is probably going to be 2 red and 1 yellow, or you can go all red. That's going to be a really nice. You're going to have dodge effect cooldown is decreased by 5 seconds. Once again, this is phenomenal because the dodge is what you're essentially wanting to do, so you can get more damage output out of her. And I believe Bastet's going to have, you know, really nice iframes to be able to, you know, not get hit and things of that nature. Because when we take a look at the second one, when basic attacks or all skill attacks hit, obtain 1 stack of crit damage buff. Each stack increases crit damage by 9%, max 9 stacks. That's phenomenal. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind though is when hit by enemies, lose all stacks and all trace. So if you have a bit of skill issues, this might be a problem for you. But as long as you're dodging effectively, and once again, that plays synergistically into the first one, having iframes, being just skillful with your modifier, and understanding the enemies that you're going up against, you could really stack this up to its full potential, and you're doing a lot of damage. You're doing a lot of damage. And then the last one, skill 3, will no longer consume 1 trace, but will instead generate 1 trace. That's pretty nice. And then extremity dodge will have the following additional effects. When the teleport attack after extremity dodge hits enemies, consume 1 trace if in possession of trace to reset dodge effect cooldown. That's pretty nutty, right? So essentially you're going to be able to do that continuously if, once again, done properly. So you're going to be a blur. You're essentially going to be all over the place, which fits my play style to the T. Just like Oceanus, all over the place, flashy, fast, quick. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a really good time. And then the blue seems to be more of like the support / fun aspect of Bastet to a degree. Like the red one's going to be really fun, but the blue one looks to be like one of the fun ones. And then all yellow, it seems to be good as well, but I would say 2 red and 1 yellow is going to be optimal, or just go all red. Completely up to you. But that is the Aether codes. Moving over to the sigils, the one that you're going to want to put on your Bastet is going to be the trace one, which I believe is right here. The Decree of Waves, you're going to want to go with this one, which you can farm up now if I'm not mistaken on global. And then the shadow one, which is up here, that came with Hell, you're going to want to go ahead and farm these 2 out. They're going to be the recommended. They're going to be the optimal ones to put on your Bastet. Now, if you Omega Bastet, which is very realistic for a lot of people, you're going to still want to do the Trace and this one, and then you're going to want to go with probably the Nimble. If I could find the Nimble. Most likely going to be the Nimble, which is right here, where you're going to increase the ultimate charge regeneration by 30% and then increase the ultimate damage. Playing very nicely with Jin A and that ultimate skill chain. It's going to absolutely pop off. Or you can go with the Golden Fleece. I think it's going to be a sneaky good option. When modifying level is Omega, increase crit damage by 35%. I think this is going to be a sneaky good option. Or the Sword of Roland. Once again, this is if we're talking about Omega and Bastet, and this is in battle when in modified mode, increase self attack by 50%. I think this is going to be a sneaky good option. So those are different options that you can choose for your Bastet, depending on if you're looking to Omega or not, which once again, most people I would think are going to at least try. She's a fan favorite. She's a tier 1 A rank modifier. Like, that is phenomenal in of itself. She's able to do a lot of damage. And then in terms of teams, I'm thinking that you can go with obviously Janae and Bastet I feel like are a given. And then you're probably going to want to go with a, possibly if you want to go another Nile for the gen zone, you can go with Anubis. Anubis and Bastet pair up really well because Anubis is shadow, so the shadow resistance shred with Bastet is going to help Anubis out a lot. So you could do like Janae, Bastet, and Anubis. But if you want Bastet to be hitting as hard as she possibly can, as in you're maining her to do the main damage, you're probably going to want to do Janae, Bastet, and probably Hera. I think that team is going to cook. Or you can do Bastet, Janae, and Hell, because Hell, I believe, boosts the shadow damage on her ultimate. So that can be pretty beneficial. The Nile gen zone is not the most, abundant gen zone in terms of modifiers on there. It's not the greatest. They can use some more modifiers in there, and hopefully we'll get some in the future. But with Anubis and Bastet, it'll round out pretty decently for the time being anyways. But I would say probably Bastet, Janae, and then depending on what you're trying to do, I would go Hera or maybe Anubis or Hell. Or even maybe Heimdall might be another option that you can place in there. Just really depends on what you have on your account and what you're trying to do. But anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you got some value from it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know if you're going to be trying to get a Bastet and trying to Omega. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. This is going to be coming out on the 21st, so I should be going live for that. Should be a really good time. And I'll see you all there. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name is Cody. You call me Further. I'll see you all next one. Bye, guys.